Alright, hi. I believe I'm live. Hi, I'm OddBod. This is a short hike, a small little indie game about a bird climbing a mountain, and the category I'm playing is all gold feathers. Let's just jump right into it. Okay. So a short hike is, yeah, as I said, like an indie game. It's like a 3D platformer. Best description I always hear is sort of like a mix between Zelda and not Link's Awakening, Animal Crossing. So it definitely has to like just chill atmosphere of Animal Crossing, but you know how you actually play this game is a lot of like exploration driven, just climbing around the mountain and finding new stuff. Of course, all that exploration doesn't really matter in the context of speedrunning because. Oh, was that start time? Yeah, it definitely was. Sorry about that. Yes, we're going. But yes, anyway, yeah, the exploration doesn't really matter, so it's more like a 3D platformer for us. Our first pickup here is the toy shovel, which we'll trade in just a second. Right there I picked up a shell, which is also important. And over here's some money. And that's pretty much the three main pickups, or two of the three main pickups in this run. So we'll have these shells, here's another one for instance, which we needed for a quest. I'm gonna pick up a lot of money, and then, you know, lastly the gold feathers, which is the mainstay of the category. And there I traded in the toy shovel I picked up for the real shovel, equip it, and again, that's one of the main items for this run. Which mostly allows us to get some money like that, and also some feathers later. And here's the first sort of bigger trick of the game, where we can stand on top of a chest, and all chests have a sort of like pushback when you open them. And you can use that to your advantage if you stand like right on top of them and push the upwards like that. And then here we're gonna buy our first 2 feathers. This guy sells exactly 2 for 40 each. And again, this is the main thing of the category. We need all golden feathers. There's 20 in total. And yeah, the way they work is you see them in the bottom left, and they deplete when I use a double jump in the air. So they grant us double jumps like that. And we can also kind of use them to climb up walls, in which case they don't deplete instantly, but rather gradually, like you see there maybe in the bottom left corner. Here in a second again, you'll see in the bottom left corner that like there, like it turns black like gradually. So that's the 2 main uses for them, and then they recover, you know, gradually as you stand on the ground. So with that in mind, like one of the main optimizations early on is like a climbing technique that we use for instance here, where you're gonna, oops, I need that coin. You see me climb up a bit, and then I use a double jump. So essentially what I'm doing is, you can use the feather to climb, and as I said, it depletes gradually. And so just before it actually would be fully depleted and like, you know, count as completely depleted, then you can still use it to double jump. So let's say a double jump would use 100%, and then, you know, climbing would gradually, you know, do like, I don't know, like 1% per frame. So I can use like 99% climbing, and then, you know, I can still use the final 1% for a full double jump. And that just helps climbing up stuff early, fast and like, you know, higher early on. We get our next feather. And then right here is a good moment to actually like sort of show off the main optimization for the game, which is making the best out of your flies. So you can see me nosedive down there a bit, and that builds speed, and now I can carry over that speed into a glide like that. And that's sort of the main thing on, you know, how you actually go fast. So here again, you see me nosedive down a bit, and every time I nosedive down I build some speed. And then, you know, as I glide I can transfer that speed into the actual glide. Pick up some money along the way, and then... Oops, I need that too. Money road is kinda tight. And then right here I'll talk to this painter, which I talked to before. They reward us with a there's a quest that rewards us with a feather at the very end. Also here I'm gonna dig up a feather, hopefully. Oops, come on. There we go. So that feather right there, or the chest right there rather, is sort of hidden, as you saw. And the way you're like normally supposed to find that is you can like find sort of riddles, I guess, like, or like poems that pose as riddles. And, you know, those would hint at that spot, but of course, again, we don't need that, so we can just stick that up. The one earlier, the one where we did the first chest boost off, was also like hidden in the same way, where there's a poem in the game that would describe that particular feather, or that particular chest rather, sorry. And over here we pick up the second main item of the run, which is the bucket. alongside with the shovel. So the bucket, you can see I can carry over some water. Whenever I carry water, I can't use my golden feathers at all. And then I can dump that water onto these little seeds, and that will grow a flower. And then on that flower I can bounce. And you know, that's quite nice to just maneuvering around through the map in this category. In any percent, actually, we can use those flowers to like climb up the mountain very fast and beat the game in like 3 minutes. There's a neat little menuing optimization here where I'm gonna dump the water, and during the animation I'm gonna switch to shovel, then dig up something with the shovel here, and then during that animation again I'm gonna switch to the bucket there, just to save some time. And now we're pretty much following the any percent routes for a little bit. We're gonna do this flower and then carry the water here to do this flower. I'll double jump here briefly to cancel upwards momentum, get more water, and then this is the final flower on, you know, the summit, I suppose. And yeah, here's the top of the mountain, which is sort of like the main thing that you want to do in this game casually, but I don't want to go too much into the story because you should totally play this if you haven't, and I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, this sort of, for any percent, the game would kind of end right here. And all, like, essentially what this cutscene does is it allows us to actually end the game by then going back to the start, to our house. At that point we can actually trigger the credits. So any percent would just like do like this massive like nosedive down towards the house and then end the game. But for this category it's more like a midway point. So far we sort of revolved upwards, or like we revolved around the mountain while going upwards. And now we're gonna keep revolving around the mountain while going downwards again, and to kind of, you know, we see like honestly the majority of you know, the beautiful landscapes in this game with this category, which is quite neat. And yeah, I think it's actually like almost like perfectly the midway point, judging by time. So here I'm gonna dive down to the next painter location, which I guess I have time to explain now. Is this painter, like, it appears they appear in spot like all over the map. Like every time I talk to them, they appear in a new spot, and they kind of give you a hint where they will be next when you talk to them. And then I have to go there again, and they give me a new spot, and I have to go there again. So that kind of like really dictates the route, because again at the end of that quest for that painter, they will give us a feather. But, you know, the route works out quite nice. Like, I say it dictates the route, but honestly, it works out with, like, getting all the shells and all the money, too, so perfectly fine. You're gonna play a mini game called Beach Stick Ball, where you have to hit, you know, this beach volleyball. And to hit it 5 times for a feather. There used to be another route, actually, where we hit it 10 times for an optional reward, which is money. But we found a more optimized money route since, so we only hit it 5 times, get the feather, and I can already quit the game, go up here. And then they will give us a feather for it, like that. 10 feathers. There's a total of 20 actually in the game. So you would assume we reached the halfway point, but we hit a quite feather dense area soon, so definitely going towards the end. And that will be the third to last painter location, right there. And here again, upcoming, there's a feather on top of this ridge at the top. And here we actually use that climbing technique I talked about earlier again, so here you can really see it. Look in the bottom left where the feathers go. Like, you see them slowly turn, like, dark, and then I can still use a double jump by re-hitting the jump button, even though they're, like, 90% completed. And that's how you can climb up that ridge pretty easily early on. Well, not early on, but, you know, with little feathers, I guess. Get that shell, 14. We need a total of 15 for the quest, by the way. I'll go into that in a second. And then there's 2 more chest boosts here. We need a total of 400 coins. Now we need 40 earlier, of course, for the other 2 feathers, and then soon there will be more feathers to buy, so that's what we need the money for. So yeah, 410, I need 400. Can't never have too many. Or too much, rather. Too much? Too many? What is it? Not native, by the way. Too much money? Probably too much money, that sounds right. Anyway, this is why we grew the flower here earlier. We kind of were this place, if you remember. This is where we picked up the bucket. And then we're gonna fly kind of around this ridge here. Get some speed. And then this is the feather dense area I was talking about. So here's one feather just sitting around. There's actually one of the 2 feathers that we get in the any percent run, which again only gets 2 feathers. And now here we can buy 4 feathers total. 1 feather for 100 coins each. Oops, I need 1 more. And now, because there wasn't enough feathers here already, there's one over here too at this like lookout post. Which, by the way, this is beautiful. If I had time to actually look into that like binocular there, let's look through that, and it's gorgeous. Play this game, really do. And now we already sort of hit the end of the you know, the run and we just kind of do cleanup. So there's one feather eventually on here where we gave this kid the toy shovel, he gave us the real shovel. If you talk to him and then come back, he will grow more and more sandcastles. Did I say grow? Like build more is what I mean. And eventually there will be a feather. And here's the final paint location. And there we go with a feather. And then we go right back to where we were just a second ago. Get that final feather from the sandcastle. And then the final feather comes from the shell quest. Again, we need 15. There's this kid over here that patrols. I'm gonna save and quit out here. I save and quit because it resets like his patrol pattern, so he just like aligns more nicely. I probably didn't do much. And now we will trade the 15 shells for like a shell necklet. Or necklace rather. And then over here, if I save and quit on like a flower like this, it actually puts me in a safe spot because it doesn't like really let you save there, or at least not respawn there. So it just, you know, puts me in a safe spot closer to the house. Saves around like 3 or 4 seconds. Not a big deal, but cool little tech there with save and quit. And now this is pretty much the end of the game. We turn on the necklace to our aunt. She gives us a feather, which is the 20th feather. So now we have all, and this works out perfectly because we're right next to the house, and time. Sick. Not much left to say other than play this game, please, if you haven't. I played a lot of good games this year, but this is like honestly up there with like one of my most favorite games this year, and it's only like $5 or something. And you can play it in like one sitting. If you haven't, please play it. It's so good. The speedrun doesn't really do it justice because again, like the beauty of it is just like exploring and just having fun, walking around for like 4 hours. So yeah, go buy it. And also like of course, because we're all speedrunners here, you should also look into speedrunning. It's really like easy to get into if you're looking for some small little game to get into. This category of course clocks in at like 10-11 minutes ish. Any percent is only 3 minutes, so you can probably learn that in like a couple hours. And this one you can probably also learn in a couple hours. Like very easy game to pick up, very easy on the hands. If you're like me and play a lot of mechanically intensive games, otherwise it's definitely nice relaxing. Pick it up. Anyway, thank you guys for having me. Hope you enjoyed that one.